Hello again, everybody. This is Amorgin, and you're very welcome back to another community panel discussion where we take on this subject matter of the new patch 9.0, with all of the new content, guys. I'm joined by Flando from server 131, Relentless and Bigballs from server 145, although Relentless mic isn't working too great, so he doesn't show up too much in this one. And we're also joined by Heck Beyond the Stars from server 28, and we're going to go through the various aspects of this new content, guys. For a quick link to the different subjects, check out the description below. It's quite a lengthy chat, this one. We're going to have to do it in two parts, and follow us for the second part of this tomorrow or the next day, whenever we get a chance to get that one up. So I haven't really engaged with this content. You were saying as well, Big Balls, that you hadn't really bothered with the missions or anything yet.
No, not yet. No, I haven't. I'm waiting. I'm speaking to lots of players who have. I'm trying to gauge it and weigh it up in that way, because I fear it's a bit of another runaround.
Have you done this strengthen your fleet, or Flando? Have you or anybody done strengthen your fleet and gotten these alpha tokens yet?
Not yet. I'm scrapping my Kamari, so once I've got the uncommon O from that, I'll have enough O to.
Right. So the problem you're experiencing is the same old not having enough G3 uncommon.
Aye.
That's why you're not able to do this, yeah.
Not. I'll complete it with 2 days to spare. But aye, it's only lucky that if we didn't have Scrapyard, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
I'm looking at this Romulan reputation event in my events thing there as well, and that's some mess with the whole faction reputation. What do you make of that?
Yes, I'm fucking messing, by the way, because I had Romulan and Cleon both maxed. So when they took away the rep lock yesterday, I've been killing Klingons to get my fed up. And then because tonight at 5 PM when they gave the rewards out for having maxed factions, because in that 24-hour period of time, I lost my max rep on Klingon, I only got 1 token instead of 2. So what they've done is they've looked at who's got matched reputation after removing the rep lock, rather than checking it before the rep lock. So had they not had a 24-hour gap between the rep being unlocked and the rewards, I would have got 2 Delta tokens. But because of their stupidity, I've only got 1 token. So I've sent a ticket away. I've raised a ticket to the support team. So I'm pretty pissed because of that 24-hour period when I've been grinding hostiles. I've lost out on 1 million rep and 5 epiship BP of my choice because of their stupidity. So I'm not happy with that at all.
Yeah, I've been frantically working on my Klingon reputation, trying to bring it back. Now it's just ruined all of that. I'd done a bunch of missions. Had Romulan maxed all of that, had it down to by about 1 million, had about 1 million into my Klingon rep, and now it's, if I follow through with Romulan now, which I'm gonna probably have to do, that'll just destroy all that effort I've done with the Klingon rep. You know, it's shocking stuff.
I mean, it's still possible to do dual faction. That's the thing, you can still go dual, but people who are kind of at my where I was stage wise, I was working towards my 3rd. Faction. So I had Federation at 3 million already. So I was 7 million away from getting all 3 locked in.
And you only got 1 chest. What did you get in that chest? I got a beta token there. What did you get?
That's so you get there's 3 tokens that are out in this game right now. There's the alpha, the beta, and the delta. So the alpha tokens are you using is what you get in events and what you can use in event store.
The alpha tokens, yeah.
If you've got crossover tokens from the previous event, you can exchange them for alpha tokens.
Yeah.
So you can. That's on the stream. The beta token is the one that every player got. So it was a free gift. I think it gave...
If you had a faction maxed.
No, there was
Everybody got a beta token.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a beta one that everyone got, and the Delta one, which was if you had, or there might be a little way about, but I'm pretty sure the beta one was if you got, I think just everyone got it, and you got like, I think you got credits, I think it was. I can't remember what it was. I opened it yesterday, and I forgot what it was now. But there was a beta and Delta. One was a token that everyone got, which was yesterday, and the other token was one that you only got if you had.
Yeah, so yesterday I got a Delta token.
Oh, Delta, right. So Delta was the one that everyone got. Beta was the one today, which is if you had.
And where do you exchange them then?
So if you go to your officers options at the top and recruit, you see them there. So you've got.
There they are. Yeah.
So you can choose them which one you want.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll give me 1 million Romulan there for a beta token. And a couple of Augur blueprints.
Yeah, so that's just pissed me off because I lost it on my second match rep because of that 24-hour period. I've lost it on one of those tokens. So that's a big loss. Like 1 million rep and 5 epic ship AP. So that's a big hit. So yeah, I'm not too happy.
Yeah, now I could probably go 1 million for Klingon there, right? And it could probably get me, we'll take a wee look now, the Klingon rep would probably get me up to be able to work on dual faction. Yeah, I'm 500,000 away from being positive with the Klingons. So that's an option for me. I'll think about that. I wonder how long that's going to run. 4 days and 20 hours. And there's the Delta token.
Alright, sorry, what were you saying?
I'm just looking there. There's Spy for the Romulans as well, and that's the old Delta token. It'll give me 1,000 credits and 500 tokens.
I mean, it's real. I use mine on Federation because what I'm kind of hoping on doing somehow is if I can still. So now I've got Federation currently at 4.4 million, and Rom and Klingon are sitting about 9.5 each. So what I want to try and do is get them all to about the same rep, which will probably. It'll probably not do my Roman Klingon to about 8 million, 7 million, and then push Federation.
Now, tell me in terms of how you see right now these changes that have happened, how you see it going forward to be able to do dual factions. Some people have suggested this is the death of dual factions.
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
No. It just means that you have to be more wise when you're doing missions, and before you complete a mission, work out how much you're going to lose and how much you're going to gain.
Yeah.
And if you're going to lose out, when you're going to claim that back? Are you going to do grinding? Do you have other missions you can do to compensate for that?
So where I'm at the minute, 581,000 to get me kind of neutral with the Klingons, right?
Yeah.
81k to hostile, and then another 500 to be neutral, right? That'll if I use that beta token, that'll bring me 500k positive-ish with the Klingons, and I'll still be 10 million with the Romulans. Do you reckon it's possible in that way to be 10 million with the Romulans plus 500,000 with the Klingons and maintain that dual faction thing through dailies and things like that and missions?
It's possible. I mean, you could sacrifice some of the. You wouldn't necessarily have to have Romulans over 10 million at this point, because bear in mind that the challenges you've got once it is over 10 million is you need to kill level 39s, you have to mine 25k. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a choice of, well, currently when you've had ROMs at 10 million, have you been killing the level 39s for the dailies?
I could probably take out a couple of level 39s.
But have you been?
In some systems there towards the end where it was requiring me to hit 37, 38s, when I'd need a 39, when I'd need a 38 or 37 to spawn, and I was only left at 39s, I've killed 39s. Yeah.
Right. So what you could probably do, if it's only because you've had to do it and you can maybe get away with not doing it, you can always drop down and keep it at associate level, but keep it close to the 10 mil. Do the dailies for Romulan, do the dailies for Klingon, but when it comes to the daily reputation event, only do the Klingon.
Right.
Alright. So you will lose a small amount of rep on Romulans, but then once you're at that point where you've got Klingons and Romulans, when you get Klingon to associate level at 2 million, you can then start doing both of them rep events and then just focus on killing Federation instead.
Yeah.
Because Federation, when you kill Federation, you get
you get both. Yeah.
You get a bigger bonus. You get more rep towards Klingon. Oh, no, sorry. You get more rep towards Romulans, I think, compared to Klingons when you kill Federation, but you're still getting positives on each one. So it means that if you've lost, a few 100,000 reputation in Romulans, you're gonna gain that back anyway once you've been killing some Federation. And that way that you're still, although your focus at that point is to get Romans back up to over 10 million, you're still getting that little bit of push positively for Klingon at the same time. So dual faction isn't stopped, it's not been stopped or blocked out, or they've not made it impossible to achieve. It's still fairly doable, but you just have to be a lot more wise to when you're doing certain things and working out the numbers behind it before you go and do it. But yeah, it's still completely possible. Absolutely. It's a tri-faction that's now impossible to do.
I had a ship down. I was gonna I was gonna run through some of these missions as we were talking, right? And I had a ship down in Labac, I think isn't that the system that
Labac and Oberlin. So there's two starting points. If you start one in Oberlin, you can't start it in Labac. Both have the exact same storyline. You get the exact same rewards. It makes no difference.
Either or, yeah. So I had
so you don't have a system overloaded by all the same.
I had my ship. I had my ship sent down. I suppose this is relating back to a conversation I had with Bigballs earlier. Is the ship down in to ready to pick up the old mission in Labac, in preparation for being able to record. Logged in on BlueStacks, came from my phone, logged in on BlueStacks, got chatting to you guys, got looking there, and one of our friends going in from ROG and destroyed my waiting ship. That's the sort of friendly kind of stuff goes on our server, Bigballs.
I love it. Sounds good. You gotta be alert.
Can you please use your refinery and open your chest? Oh my god, that is annoying me.
just before.
Yeah, I meant
just before we move on. Just before we move on to the missions and stuff, I just want to say about the faction rep. I'm a bit worried that we've missed the bigger point here, in that individuals who've downloaded this game and invested a year of gameplay time into it, have played to establish their position within the factions. They've ignored opportunities elsewhere to pursue a certain game goal, and they've achieved it, and they've followed the game dynamics and mechanics, and they have established themselves within the factions, one or two, and they've played hard to get there, and they've maybe spent money to get there, and suddenly the goalposts have been moved. And so yes, it may well be true that the dual faction is still possible. It can all still be managed, But let's not ignore the fact that they've suddenly shifted the goalposts. A year into the game, everything's changed. Players who have been pursuing a certain gameplay approach have now had that approach undermined and completely whipped out from under them, and are now having to start again.
What they should have done.
And I think there's an issue in terms of just accepting that and saying, yeah, do you know what? Okay, well, we'll start again, and we'll go and we'll try and re-establish our dual faction position.
No, it is a bit of a pain, all right.
Not just a pain. There's something amoral about it.
Yeah, no, there is. But you nailed it on the head.
Fundamentally,
what they could do, all right, is keep it locked in at the 10 mil. But
yes, keep it
from
locked.
that point onwards, you lose. So it means that one shift, because anything above 10 billion is 4-star, grade 4. So if that's the way Scopely have it intended, that they don't want people to actually be able to max or have all 3 factions, that's fine. But they could start that from the 10 mil point.
Yes.
Because people, just as you said, have been doing it for months and months and months and months.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not maxed. I'm not maxed with any rep, any faction rep. I'm not maxed, so I'm not talking from a personal point of view. I
bear in mind that they can lock factions. They can, the same way the same way that they locked it that you can't go below 2 million. Negative. They could say, right, well, once you've established 10,500,000, you can't drop below that. So once once you achieve that, that's you past that threshold, and you have to work from there.
You're locked in. You work up
and we have this maintenance tomorrow. We can cross our fingers like that. Maybe they'll fix these sort of things, well, in a couple of hours, actually,
Yes, it is now.
But
some
reckon
way back, way back when they did an update once. Way back, we're talking 9 months ago, maybe more. They did an update, and we all logged on and found loads of missions auto completed.
That's right.
And our reps were all adjusted. Now, I'd been playing a dual faction game approach at that point, and because they completed all these missions for me, I ended up, my faction reps were all messed up, and I put a ticket in and said, listen, you've completely messed my game up here. And they, after a few days and a few conversations, they readjusted it and they put it back to where it was. So it can be done. It's been done before. It can be done, and there's no excuse. If I'd worked hard, I haven't maxed my rep because of my own game decisions and how I'm planning to play it. That will now change because of this update, and that's one element. But if I'd played hard to max it and max 2, and then they just and this was Dave's complaint, Dave on our server, who's a high level player. He had two factions maxed, and that's all gone suddenly, like yourself, Flando, just taken, gone because of an update. No warning, no information beforehand saying this is what we're planning. This is why we're doing it. This is how we're going to develop the game. I hope you all agree that this is the best thing. It's just done. It's just absolutely done to you. I think that's another element of things. It's not just that it feels unfair, but the way it's done is unfair as well. Without warning, without explanation, without a kind of rationale. It just happens to you. And yeah, I really wouldn't want us to just accept it and say, all right, how can we adapt to this now and move on? I'd hope as a community would say, no, not acceptable. We've invested time and money in the game, and you owe us something better and a better service, a better experience, and at least an explanation. But who knows? Tomorrow I could be eating my words and saying, they've done the right thing. Well done.
Yeah, well, maybe
yeah.
it would be nice if they'd done something like Flando was talking about, or like we were saying there, and just locked in anybody who had it previously maxed. Just let them lock it in at 10 million and be done with it. You know.
Of course. But it doesn't seem hard. That Amorgin, that's my thing. It doesn't seem difficult to work out.
It's just it's
players who've played for a year. Let's give them what they've got. Everybody's locked in at what they've got, and now we're taking it on from there. We'd all accept that, you know. It's almost like, you know, playing a game of football and you're 10-0 up, and then somebody else joins the game and it's like, right, we're all back to a 0-0. It's like,
yeah. But sometimes you have to do that though. Like I've refereed kids' games like sometimes, and it's like,
yeah, of course,
you know, you have to go right. Next goal wins. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you explain it, don't you? And you say, right, listen, we're having a new player in. We're going to finish this game. We're going to move on to a new game. This is the next one. And you won that one 10-0, and now you're moving on to the next game. And that's fair enough. No worries. Okay, let's go again. But just to have it all just stripped from you, it's not right on any level for me.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that again, because there is, from a certain perspective, a logic in that, right? I don't think that it's applicable to an environment where you've got paying customers and you're dealing with adults. You know,
it's complex.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, okay. Let me see. I'll jump back into the station here. I'm after exchanging me Klingon token, or my faction token for Klingon things. So I'm looking to see here now. Right. So I haven't got any Klingon missions. That'll probably only be when the missions refresh. I'm now favoured with the Klingons, and I'm 81k away from Consort.
You can get that to 500 tonight, easy.
And that, do you know what? That's very fortunate for you, but you know, there's many players who are not going to be in that position.
In fairness, though, Bigballs, I put in some shift clawing back my Klingon reputation by that million by completing missions.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that does balance it a wee bit for me, but it creates a serious dilemma for me now, because I put in so much effort getting the Romulans to 10 million. Yeah. You know?
Aye.
But, I mean, listen, we'll move on. Anything on the missions there, Flando, that I need to be paying any attention to? I noticed that in some of the 18 systems... Boring.
Honestly. Boring as fuck, yep.
Right.
And just getting past all of them.
Just another...
However,
we talked about it with the jelly thing. It's just a runaround.
However, there are, so in the outpost systems in neutral space, you know, you've got those 3 systems.
Krahor and all of that, yeah.
Yeah, so once you've done those missions, each mission, it's a continuation until you get to the last one, but those systems will have a mission that you can't start. So I don't know if that's maybe something like about tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what some of the giving out has been about, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Kratok completed mission Honor and Blood. So you don't do that mission in these new sets of missions that they brought out. So that's probably something tomorrow, hopefully. So I've checked my archive missions, and I've not got Honor and Blood as a mission in my archives. And I've started every mission I can up to warp range 60. So unless it's something higher than that, then I don't know.
Yeah. One of the things I just want to mention briefly, I don't know if any of you guys have seen Econ's video. Econ's raving about the fog of war now, being
yes.
And that kind of thing. That's a new thing that's in. Are you aware of this, Bigballs?
Yes, yeah. You can't see them unless you're in the system.
Yeah, he reckons that's a wee bit of a game changer for the higher level stuff, because you now have to actually be in the system before you know if you can hit somebody there or not.
Aye. Well,
Question on that
why
one.
not? Why not have that for every system? You know, it's
How do you
this
then
update.
relocate?
This update has very much been seen
Well,
on our
presumably the
server.
relocation isn't going to be possible in them systems.
I was going to say
Yeah,
that
but-
because you have to have all ships to be docked to relocate. So if you can't see the system without having a ship there, then you can't relocate.
And I've heard
So I'm
about a wee bit of a bug there. I presume it's a bug. I doubt it's a feature, but you never know. Of where people have been messing around and have been able to jump when their ship's still in a system, but it wasn't docked at home, and they were able to jump their base or something. I read something about that somewhere.
all right. First I've heard.
No,
First I've heard
that'd
about
be
it.
interesting.
Probably.
But the thing is, on our server, this update has very much been interpreted as as an update for the elite, for the big boys.
Yeah.
And there's not been a lot. It's been scraps for the rest, and you know, there's a lot of disillusionment, a lot of sense of just, you know,
Yeah.
is this it? You know, it's almost like Armadas was one disappointment, and this has been another.
Do you get a feeling now, you guys, like you have been around this game quite a while at this stage? Do you get a feeling that again it's content overload? You know, I've said this numerous times in videos like that. Don't overload us with stuff. There just seems to be a whole raft of new things, and it's going to take an age to get through exactly. And that's why I suppose why we do these videos and stuff like that at times. But I mean, do you get the feeling
Personally,
that
I don't think there's anything new. There's been nothing new. The only thing new in the year and a month that I've been playing this game, the only new thing is the Armadas, and that's the disaster. Like in terms of gameplay and playability, everything else has just been a rehashing of the old. It's not new. It's just a new name, and it's just a new number attached to it. But the experience is exactly the same.
I've already spoken about the ship designs.
Yeah.
On the 4-star ships, and it's just a lazy ass way of doing it.
Nah, it's just the
I mean,
same
the
thing,
Valdor, if you
rehashed.
look at the Valdor and the Centurion, the Katinga and the Bortus, you know, they're pretty much the Valdor and Centurion. If you just stretch out the Centurion a bit longer, you've got the Valdor.
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah. And
there's nothing creative about it at all.
Nothing
in
new,
fairness,
nothing new.
lads, right? I don't have any of you seen the G4 video that I done before when we were speculating.
Aye, I mean, it's the exact same ship.
Yeah.
Right, those ships have been in this game for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they haven't put in any effort at all.
Well, I think
Into
I think
this.
my very first comment on a community panel like this was to share my fear for the game, in that there was a game created by a bunch of developers and programmers who had some talent, who had some skills, and who created this, to create an analogy, this clay. And they created it from nothing, and they made it. And then they moved on. And what we've been left with is what they've left behind. And the developers that now exist on this game are incapable of creating any new clay. All they can do is reform that clay into new formats and new guises, but it's still the same clay. And it's, you know, it's whether it be a swarm with a different name and a slightly different graphic, but the same basic functions, whether it be data mining, whether with the data mining is now mined at a rate well above the 2-star and 3-star mats, but it's still the same basic interaction of mining, and whether it be the bosses, which are, you know, basically just an hostile with a bumped up number attached to them, and you still have to do the same basic gameplay, or whether it be the Devore, or the lot mine that you now have to mine on, it's just the same basic thing over and over and over again. What's new? What's actually new? The Armadas is the only thing that's been new, and they took an age over it, and what they've actually delivered is, well, it's beyond just limited.
It's the same old stuff
to all of us.
It's the same old stuff rehashed sometimes.
And I fear this update is now aimed at the bigger levels, but it's just the same thing. There's nothing new. It's just bigger hostiles and other systems with now, instead of calling it 3-star, we're not calling it 4-star, but you still got to be mined in the same way. There's no other gameplay. There's no other interaction other than what you've already done. You've always done it, and you'll always get what you've always got.
Right. Well, one of the things we'd usually do in the community panel there is we'd go through what we'd like to see in the game and stuff. Like the scrapyard is there. That's surely a positive. I'm after building the scrapyard there myself now. Surely that's a positive.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure at the start of this conversation, but Flandos told me he's getting some decent returns. Go on, Flando. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I think I have been pretty positive about this scrapyard personally. My only bugbear is that you can't speed up.
Aye.
But I was talking to McCall about the rewards. So if you're gonna scrap a 3-star ship like a Kamari or a Kiera or a Backless, yes, you're not gonna get what you put into the ship back. I get that, it makes sense. If you're gonna scrap something, you're not gonna get everything back. In most games, if you do that, you don't get all refunded back.
Of course
you get a percentage.
Yeah. You've used it, so yeah.
If you're gonna be doing the 2-star ships, you're gonna be gaining no matter what. Whether you're spending 2,000, or to upgrade a Tala to 35, it's fine. It's a 2-star ship. When are you gonna be using those 2-star mats again? Never. So, and I've just worked out just earlier on. So, in a 30-day month, if I was to continuously scrap matched envoys, which are going to cost me just 2-star material, in a whole month, then I'm going to be able to scrap 15 of them overall. Now, that would get me, in the month, 495 uncommon crystal, 225 uncommon gas, and then 15 rare crystal and 15 rare gas. Now, if I'm getting that just from scrapping 15 envoys in a month,
no one
only
coming
using
over.
2-star. No, you don't get it's whatever you use. So because I'm using gas and crystal to upgrade, so you get that back in 3-star form. You'd have to scrap the Tala to get ore back. But if I'm getting that amount in a month just from scrapping ships that are 2-star, that's so totally worth it to me.
That's a return.
And you've tested this a little bit, Flando. You are able to get 3-star from scrapping ships that you use 2-star on.
Yes, it's also on the cars as well.
So it is kind of a workaround for for using up the 2-star stuff.
Yeah. Very, very decent, that.
Yeah, and we've called for these things, like even if the rate isn't that good and it's not that worthwhile for you, what I think is useful is people have been calling for this and they've given it to you. I think you said it before, Bigballs and others, like you may not get what you want, but at least it shows that they're listening in some way, and trying to,
But you need to get some of what you want. And I think my when I came into Flandos reassured me there. I'm much happier about the scrapyard after speaking to him, because up until this point, everything I heard about the scrapyard is that it was about as useful as a 10-minute chest.
And that's everything I have heard as well.
Chest,
and that's why I was asking Flando, has he tested this? Because I'll certainly be going and doing that now.
Well, exactly. I'll be building all the envoys I can. I can do about the same as Flando, and Talas as well, and all those other ships. I'll be scrapping them. If I'm getting 3-star for 2-star ships, then
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really
well.
good.
I'm going to do this
And
as we speak.
I hope that's massively. I hope that's true, and I hope that will massively change my opinion on that update. In terms of the usefulness of the scrapyard, because what I've heard until now, it's pointless as a few other things.
And I'm just checking this now because you get
positive.
7. I'm just checking how much it's going to take to level to 35 because you do get 7,500 ship XP back. So I'm just.
So I thought there would be an icon on top of the Scrapyard-Flando to allow you to.
So you can't scrap a ship if you're upgrading it. If you're upgrading the shipyard, if it's upgrading at that point, you can't scrap it. You have to basically start scrapping a ship, and then upgrade it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And then once your upgrade's complete, you can then scrap again.
Right, but I have my scrapyard now at level 6, and it's sitting there.
Right, let me check your stream.
Done.
Let's see.
And what level ships can you scrap at level 6?
Have you not downloaded that? Have you? You must not have updated it on BlueStacks.
Right, is that part of the problem?
Yeah, a couple of guys in my alliance had the same issue, and once they hadn't actually done an update, so you have to update it yet.
Okay.
So go do your update.
What this has opened up for us, for all players, for every single one of us that have paid any kind of attention to this game in the past, even somebody playing for the last month or two that has gotten into it and are sticking with it so far, what this has done is this has opened wide our eyes as to the sheer vastness of cash that you're gonna need. You're gonna need to inject if you actually want to seriously progress at any rate.
Every game you play is greedy. It's greedy for your time and it's greedy for your attention. But this game takes it to the next level. It's not just greedy for your time and your attention. It's also greedy for your cash, and that's where I have to draw the line. And when I started playing the game a year ago, I was happy to spend and spent a bit, and didn't just spend a bit. For many people, what I spent was extraordinary amounts to play a game, but it seemed a game worth spending on and worth playing. And it was really a very good premise, a really decent premise, and a good for the amount of time you spend on the game. I used to equate it to, if I was going out to the pub, I'd spend this in the pub and on a night out with my mates and piss it off the wall, and that would be it. Here I'm playing a game, I'm chatting to you guys, you're all becoming my mates. Here we're having a great time playing this game. It's a fantastic experience, really good game, and why not spend a bit on this and enjoy the game and open it up and expand it, and I was willing to do that, but I drew the line about 6 months ago and I said no, enough, because now it became clear to me it was just greed. It wasn't just here we're developing a game for you guys, and this is a great game and it's worth the money, it's worth the time, it's worth your investment in whatever it is, time or money. It was simply we just want your money. We're not even developing the game anymore. The game is just stagnating, and we still want you to just give us cash. And at some point, you have to stop giving to that Nigerian prince, don't you?
Yeah. So,
at some point, you have to realize that Nigerian prince is not ever going to be free.
Yeah, and this is what the whole new content is based on. This whole idea of deep space. We've talked about the scrapyard already. you do have to get to level 16 Scrapyard, by the way, to do envoys and all of that. I'm after realizing, but yeah, it's this new content. It's the holy boldly go kind of stuff. Getting into deep space. We looked at it before. New ships, all of that kind of stuff, and it's going to cost money to get there. That's the sad reality. It's not this update is not for free to play really, and
No.
people have already said this.
No, absolutely not. There's no doubt about it. It is for the whales.
Yeah,
I'm already happy with the
And-
they're filthy rich.
To be fair, I can't say that I was surprised, because the last time we done a race to ops event was just before they brought out the jellyfish. So when
Yes.
they brought this one again, it's because they want people to push to that higher level, that higher ops, so they can then get
Yeah.
this new ship.
Yeah.
So I knew straight away that it was gonna be 4-star that was coming out. As soon as I seen that
Yeah.
race to ops event, I knew exactly.
Aye, but the thing is that the race to op, the rewards for it, tell me that the developers do not play this game.
I know.
If that's the reward you're offering me, to spend all of my mats, all of my resources, getting to that level, and that's what you're going to give me as a reward, how does that make sense to anyone who plays this game? So I can race, I can spend all this resources, whether it be trite, power steel, dill, 3-star uncommon ore, to upgrade my station to that, and you're going to give me 100 crystal? Well, I don't need 100 uncommon crystal right now. It doesn't make any sense.
We've said this before,
there's
Bigballs,
no advantage
that
to me.
giving us options is the only way. Like it would go
Yes.
some way to satisfying people our different needs. If you can trade something or
Yes.
choose rewards where there's we sliders, like we need sliders in this game even to be able to get
Aye.
to
Listen.
use
Yeah.
how many peace shields do you want from your alliance store or whatever it is. Allow us to go in with wee sliders and go like, right,
Yes.
I've got so many credits here that I'm after winning.
It's the
let me
only
slide this
game
up. I'll take 5
Yeah.
titanium, and I'll go a little bit heavy there on the 3-star ore or whatever it is.
That's what I need right
until
now,
you've
yeah.
used up the rewards that you've earned from completing
Aye,
missions or events or whatever it is.
Exactly. And the thing is that there seems to be no understanding. Two things here. There's no understanding, firstly, of the effort required to achieve what's given. So in events and the event store, and you have to do this, that, the other, and this, that, the other costs you huge amounts of time, huge amounts of resources, huge amounts of effort to do it. And then you go into the events, event store, and you've gathered 30,000 tokens, and now you can exchange them. And you're thinking, I've got these shards. I really want these shards of this officer. Okay, well, that's going to cost you 8K for every one. And you're thinking, well, I'm not even going to get 4 from that, or 5. I'm not. What the hell am I doing all this effort for 5? I need 120, and all that effort is going to get me 5 of these shards. Just think, what the hell?
It is part of the grind, though. There are some parts I don't mind. Like they've done the. I think they've fixed the dailies pretty good. I've been managing to do my dailies now on my low level account on another server. It's more difficult to do my dailies.
Right.
at a lower level. I've found still possible to do them, but a longer task.
When you're faced with 8 billion power steal.
Oh, it's crazy! It's crazy.
Exactly. I'm happy at my limit.
And what I try to
50 million power steal a week.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell myself here.
That's nice.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell myself here though is that when all of these guys are going around and getting their packs and doing whatever they're doing, that's where if I want to have a hope of that, that's where I'll be trying to raid that. When I get to a sufficient level that I need that, I'll be expecting to raid that. I don't know, Flando, if you have a view on that, because you like your raiding, you know, when you get up to the high 30s, do you think that it will be possible to raid that, you know, does it not scale up, that the bases that you're cracking and you're raiding will be holding on to that much more resources, that you'll be able to raid that amount of resources, and 50 billion, whatever it is, won't be such a task?
No, they'll be spent all.
It was spent because
Exactly, they'll be spending it. Yeah,
the server,
gone.
people are quitting the game, so I mean the servers are getting lower and lower populous as each day goes on, you know.
But the thing is, though, you've got the veteran status, don't you? Because you're no longer playing against noobs.
Yeah.
Those who are in the game at this
They know
point,
how to shield. They know
how to shield.
victories.
They're veterans. They've learned. Those who couldn't handle it have left. They've quit. Those who know how to play, you've got to hit them 10 times in the hopes of that one time in 10 that they're away from the keyboard and they're on a phone call or they've fallen asleep or whatever. You know, raiding is tough now, and I've raided my way through the game, but it's hard. It's really hard now because you know you're playing against veterans. They're all as good as you, and you're halfway through reading them and you've taken 4 or 5 mil. they get on, they jump on, and they're shielded, and you know you haven't even recouped your losses. It's it's a different game now to what it was before. I'm hanging on to this game by the fingernails in the hope of that, in the hope of the server hops and you know, you can move around, play against different players, bring different game philosophies to different servers. You know, I've heard of a server that don't shield on weekdays because you're not allowed to raid on the weekdays.
That's hilarious, by the way.
And you can only raid on the weekends. So I can't wait to jump on that server, and fill my boots. I'm hopefully gonna join on Monday.
Now,
by Friday, they've worked out that I don't play by those rules.
Now, the upside to all of this, guys, right? And if there's anything, Flando, there that we've missed out that needs to be spoke about in the update, will you shout in a wee minute, right? But the upside to all of this. We're talking about how, I suppose, ruthless and cutthroat Scopely are once they've made up their mind to do something. If it makes sense and it makes money, then they'll do it, right? If it keeps this product going, they'll do it. And there is a ruthless streak there, right? The one reason I can see, after everything you're saying there, Bigballs, about, I agree completely, and I'm sure everybody on the founder server, any server like ours where it's grown a bit stagnant, anybody will agree that they would love to get into them servers, because those servers then, they become the kelp, you know? You know what I'm saying. Somebody made a comment one time about whales, that the guys that I sometimes show in home, that they're whales, and they're not. You know, at best in terms of money spent, they're dolphins. Some of them, and that's only a few, right? And somebody was kind of suggesting this, and I was like, well, I'd rather think of ourselves, the likes of us in home, as sharks, because we're quite predatory. right? And I'd like to think that that's what would give us a greater lifespan and has maintained our lifespan, is that we haven't been too wrapped up in, I suppose, playing nice and fearing offending somebody, or we've pushed it out a wee bit to play the game. It's gotten us a wee bit of a reputation at times, but I'd like to think that if people are silly enough, to not shield on a weekday, then I agree. I want to get on that server. I'm sure Flando will agree in that. I want to get on that server and start raiding.
I'm a bit more aggressive than that,
you know.
I'd clean it out, so I'd clean it out.
Like they'd quickly change their row there, and we'd be the worst guys in the world, of course.
But the thing is, no matter what server you're on, even your server on the Flando server, you have created a bubble in which gameplay has become established. The acceptable gameplay has become established on your server, and what you need someone from the outside to come in and burst that bubble and say, no, I don't accept OP. If you hit me for overprotected, I don't accept it. And we were talking about this earlier. You know, I have a huge issue, not an issue. I have a huge question, like fundamental logic question of, why do you get angry if I hit you for nothing? But don't get angry if I hit you for materials. If I take stuff off you, you accept it. But if I hit you and you don't have anything, then you're willing to go to war. Your whole alliance is probably willing to go to war over the fact I hit you for nothing. But if I hit you for something, you're like, oh, okay, fair enough, yeah. My bad.
Do you have a bad reputation on your server, Bigballs?
I have a bad reputation amongst shit players,
right,
and a very good reputation amongst good players, and that's complex because I have a bad reputation amongst a single alliance where half of them will hate me and half of them will respect me. Because I don't do anything slyly. I don't do anything underhand. I declare, I say, listen, don't hit my ships. If you're going to hit my ships, then understand I'm going to react. So it's up to you now at this point what you do. I've just declared what I'm going to do, and my gameplay is this. So you deal with that as you see fit. And then you get the arrogant assholes who can't accept that. And they're like, no, we all play by ROE. We all play by the rules. And you can't exist outside the rules. And I'm like, well, I can, because I've left my alliance. I'm not part of an alliance anymore. I'm playing on my own. You need to accept and understand and adapt your thinking to the fact that I'm not an alliance player anymore. I'm now a solo player, and you need to treat me differently. They can't.
There's a whole other conversation in trying to play the game solo. That's like, that's not an easy thing to do either.
Oh no, I've played the game solo, mate. It's very easy. The most powerful position on the game is solo.
You reckon?
If you don't care about dailies, you are untouchable. You can do whatever. You can take down the most powerful alliance, and I've done it. You can bend them to your will, because
people want to.
People want to play. People want to mine. People want to do whatever, and you're a solo player. It depends how much. When I come on the game as a solo player, and I'm not this anymore, but I've been this. But I played solo, and I said to him, listen, I'm a solo player. You're going to have to treat me different. You're going to have to adjust your rules of engagement to accommodate me. And you had a load of players, arrogant, usually the spenders. No, you got to play by the rules, and we'll kill you if you don't. I'm like, well, do your best.
Yeah.
I'm one player.
And do you think, right, do you think bringing it back to this update and everything, right, do you think it's still possible to do that? Imagine now there's players at level 45 with their coroners and their Newtons and whatever it might be that they've got, right? And these are players now who have spent the money over the next, say, 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if Heck wants to jump in, he can as well. Maybe somebody's sitting on, let me see, the Pelham, were you talking about the Pelham or the Pilum, whatever way you pronounce that, earlier on?
2.0.
Yeah, it looks like the Gladius, but it probably won't be that. This company's very, very bad at changing their icons about shit. Like, there are still some of the hostiles that are advertised as like a Gorn, for example, and it's not a Gorn, or something like that, or Sulabans, or it's one race and it's supposed to be another, and they're very bad with their icons. But let's say somebody's running around in a Pelon or a Pelum or a Valdor, right? Do you think that kind of solo gameplay where you don't play by the rules, right, and you make a point of showing that you can play without playing by the rules, is that going forward when you're dealing with players in their mid-40s? Is that a runner? Can that work?
Easily.
You reckon? Like, what are we talking about in terms of strength for the Vortivore? Minor.
No. I think you're when it comes to a minor is
it's
4-star, whatever else. It's never ever gonna stand up to a battleship or a warship, and that's the thing. It doesn't I've taken on players who have had warships twice the size of any ship I own, and I've had great fun, and that's the thing. A game is meant to be fun, and this game, the way we play it on our server, is not fun, and hasn't been fun. I think many servers I sound like Trump there. Many people. Many servers. Many servers. Many players I've spoken to have shared the same kind of experience where it's not fun. It's all stagnated. It's all sterile by rules established by stronger alliances. I established my alliance when I first set out. I started my alliance as part of a strong alliance. Part of a big alliance. It was like the second alliance to the strongest alliance. We broke away from them because they were bullying and playing in a way that we didn't like. We tried to change them from within. They weren't having it because of their admiral, who was a bit of an arrogant tool, who said, no, I'm not even going to listen to you because you don't get it. And we're like, no, I think you don't get it. And so we broke away. We took them down, and we established ourselves and on the server. We established some rules on the server, because up until then it was just the strongest kill the weakest. And we adjusted that and said, no, that's not right. We're not going to play like that. That doesn't make for a good server. We ended up becoming the strongest, and then we ended up killing the weakest. And that's when I said, nah, we're not going to do this, and took us a different direction. But I've never had the strongest ships on the server, and yet, as I say, I don't get hit. But I suppose you reckon it's possible with guys. You don't go for their strong. Yeah, you don't hit their warships. If their warships come in, you run away.
No, I just fear that these grade 4 miners may be well over 1 million strength and can handle like the Centurions and the Bortuses and all of that.
We'll see, but Morgan, how many of an alliance of 74 or 80 or whatever they are now, I say I'm not part of a big alliance now. So the biggest alliance I think we have is 78. How many in that alliance are of that ilk? You don't hit the biggest, you hit the smallest, and they whinge, they cry, and they say, why am I being hit? Why can't I mine? Why is my game being disrupted? Well, it's because one of our players had an issue with one of their players, and so everyone's suffering because of that one issue. And if you're part of that alliance, you're like, well, why the hell am I suffering? Because you, Bigballs, big spender McCalls, is having an issue with Bigballsmccalls, and it's like that's game theory. Do you know what I mean? I don't spend the most, but I know how to play a game, and I know how to twist the knife, and I know how to turn the screw.
Yeah, and some people haven't maybe figured that out yet, but listen, that's okay.
It's not just they haven't figured it. It's not just they haven't figured it out, Amorgin. It's that they're not even believing that's the way it should be. They think that's wrong. The fact that you're twisting the knife and you're turning their advantage against them is wrong to them. The fact that you're in an alliance and you're winning alliance rewards, and you're
we've said before, a strong alliance is always important. Try to get yourself in with a good group of people that you can work with. And
no, I see, that's where I don't agree. That works if that's what you want to do. If you're willing to be hit by the likes of others and just say, do you know what, I'm going to take that hit because I'm getting this alliance reward.
Yeah.
Then fine. But if you want to be part of the alliance, get the alliance reward, but still not be hit, then you want your cake and eating it.
Yeah.
And that it's.
And that's the way
it gets complex.
That's the way some people want to play. I want to check in with Flando, see if he's still with us, and
he's sleeping now.
What's up?
I've been talking now too long.
Heck, do you reckon that these
I'm not sleeping.
Do you reckon that these miners, heck, will be fit to will a Bortus or a Centurion or a Saladin be able to take out these an upgraded version of these G4 miners?
Honestly, I'm thinking do they go like to tier 11?
Yeah, so grade 4 ships. If the new grade 4 ships have came out the way the Jelly has, there'll be 12 tiers.
Oh, the Jelly has 12 tiers.
Yeah. They capped it at the 4th tier.
It'll be interesting when the first screenshots start to come out about that. So you guys keep an eye out for some of that stuff as if it happens. I'll do the same.
I mean, I had a guy who spent 1,000 gas this morning, actually. Yesterday morning. Also before the event came out, so he was pretty pissed off. The fact they spent 1k gas literally about 8 hours prior.
That's the thing, is there's no information beforehand. There's never ever any communication between
it's just a surprise.
The game and the players that say, listen, hold off, this is what we're going to do, and this is what you're going to get, so don't do it yet. And it's
well,
disgusting.
we talked on a previous panel about how about when G4 is coming in and what way the game's going to go, and I want to do another video on that at some stage, lads, and maybe get Econ in. I was talking to him the other night as well, and look at what's coming at us down the tracks. Do a wee bit of extrapolation and see what's coming down the tracks for us. And
here's a question. Have any of you ever played a computer game like this, an interactive game that seems determined to not give you any rewards. You know, most of the
Yeah,
games
I played one. I played one or two
many,
other
many
games like this.
I played many games that flag up. They flag up to you. Listen, you don't even know that you've got a reward, but there's a exclamation mark on this thing, and we're telling you got a reward, and the whole game is designed for you to get this reward. I feel like this game is designed to deny you rewards. It's like upgrade it now. Upgrade this. Anytime you want to upgrade this. Oh, you've upgraded it. Now we're going to give you a reward. If you'd upgraded it 10 minutes later, you would have got a reward. But you've missed out. And it really does seem designed to just frustrate you.
Yeah, it is. It's a very frustrating game. When you get to any reasonable level of strength, it's a very frustrating game. Playing over again from a low level account can be a little bit fun for a while. But it's very frustrating when it gets to a certain level.
I'm getting to that frustration.
You keep cutting out me, heck. I wish we could get that sorted out.
He's getting frustrated, and I think that's the thing.
I can't. And good parts.
Oh
We're
man,
losing
it's
again.
no good.
What? I had to convert lat to get my shipyard because I can't shit. The Kamari, it'll smash against 20 times and they'll be online.
Bollocks, I wish I could hear him.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds really interesting.
I think I caught from what he was saying. Like, he has to spend lat to repair his Kamari because he's got to suicide it a lot to break a base.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was getting at. The only ship I've found that's actually worthwhile using to break a base is the Saladin with the can crew.
I've heard this before. Yeah.
I tell you what, the Bortas is pretty good.
For bases your level and smaller, probably
For bases
is for bigger bases. So, like for example, I'll happily hit.
Depends what ships are in.
No, even just thought. And the reason I say this is see if you're aiming for a higher level base. So I'm on 31 just now. If I was to aim for, let's say, a level 35, the way the station defenses work now is they'll hit you 8 times in a round. So as any ship you use, be it a Bortus or a Saladin, whatever, if you're level 31 or 30 and you've got the uncommon faction ship, you're going to die in the first 2-3 rounds. Sometimes even just the first round. So using Saladin with the can crew and maximising synergy means you get a 100% chance of can drastically reducing the mitigation, and then you're getting that big gun right in the first round. So even if you die in that first round, you're still getting that big gun off.
The Saladin
is crucial when using it.
The Saladin has always been overpowered, and even after the boost, I thought the boost was going to bring every other ship up to Saladin level.
No,
but it didn't.
Saladin still reigns.
Yeah,
it's different supreme, but not.
I mean,
not as
Centurions
much.
Can.
But I say the
Saladin will still come.
The Bortas is really good, very good against stations. But not as good as Saladin. No way. But I can throw the Bortas against station. If it has a Saladin in, then it's going to take me a couple more hits than usual. But anything else, it does really decent damage because it's got 3 guns on the Saladin. It's a battleship, so every gun is doing genuine damage. Plus the can crew. You're taking down stations for an acceptable cost. But the Bortas is okay, but the Saladin is,
So I haven't.
it's slightly unfair. It's slightly unfair.
I think there's gonna be that scope, quote unquote, buff of station.
Not getting it. Heck.
Hey,
Minor
heck,
sweeps again.
if you can say every 2 words, if you can say 2 words and then pause for 2 seconds and then say the next 2 words, we'd get everything.
Minor sweeps. No, you're right. Yeah, so they buffed it because the buff stations.
What did he say?
He said it in the chat. Minor sweeps from 4-star minors. So
I didn't hear it.
The stations are at that power now because it means that now that G4's out, you can't have somebody with a tier 4 Voltivore, for example, like the new grade 4 Roman faction ship. Like you can't use that now to Horizon sweep a base now because the bases are that strong that it just won't survive. So I think they've put the bases up to a certain length, to a certain power, not just because of the current ship power, because the new
future ship power. Okay, so you can't one hit.
Yeah,
you can't one hit on an unshielded base even when someone's online playing the game.
Although that might change. Okay. With these bigger ships now,
No, that's what he means.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
He's made it that they've made the bases that strong because it means that these ships can't do it either. That'll come in.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. And so therefore, I can still kill a 40+ players miners on their mines, and then dodge their jellies and their enterprises, and escape unscathed as a result, and that's the gameplay. The gameplay. I don't know. The game for me is like stagnant because so many lower level players have accepted the kind of gameplay established by higher level players, and I'm in the halfway house of foot in both camps that says, you know what, these big players who've paid to play and have the 2 million enterprises could just rip through systems if they wanted. If it was me and I had a 2 million system, I'd just rip through every system in the galaxy and just destroy you all. And I'm kind of grateful for the fact that these guys don't just rip through everywhere and destroy every one of us, because they could and hit every unshielded base and on one hit it and blah blah blah. So the big players do show a bit of restraint and do show some level of community spirit, which I'm willing to acknowledge. At the same time, you've got the lower play. Go on. well, quite happily, I'd listen to
more
that.
to the fact that it's the repair costs and times on those ships. They probably don't want to spend because the costs aren't that bad, surprisingly, on like tier 7 enterprise, but the repair time is still quite a lot. Even if you spend and you've got a lot of repair speed ups, it's still a good bit to repair. At tier 7 enterprise. So I think it would have that. Is it worthwhile, hitting a few level 26 bases and then wasting all those repair speed ups? I think if I was a big spender, I probably wouldn't do it because there's just no fun in it at all.
I mean, how many speed ups must these guys have? I've not in terms of repair times and things like that. I've not spent anywhere near the amount these guys have. I'm under 10 grand, and these guys have spent, some of these guys have spent 100 grand plus. I don't worry about speed ups. I don't care about the cost in terms of speed ups, and I spent 5 grand So how much can they really be worrying about it?
I guess the ones that
I'm not-
must
I'm
do,
not-
because we've got. I'd say there's probably only out of the 4 guys that we have above level 39, or at level 39 or above. There
Yeah.
is only really one who will openly hit ships in open space.
Yeah, but
just
is
because
that,
they can. But
aye, but
Well,
is that a result of
no, he's just a dick
like?
and shot me putting it.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
But Nilithry don't. So what's different from him than Nilithry that don't do it? You know, obviously Nilithry don't really want to do it because A, there's no point to it, and B, it's a waste of resources.
Yeah. I wonder. I think on these things you get different personalities, and I find the big spenders are the easiest to manipulate because they're not up for the game. They're not up for really playing the game. They're just up for spending and achieving and getting to the next level. But they don't want to play. They don't want to pit themselves against you or take you on. You engage with me at your peril and at your will. And
You're not
I
that
don't
bad of a
do
guy,
it-
like.
No, it's not. But it's not bad. That's the thing. It's
Engage with
gameplay
me
for
at your peril. It was like, Jesus, man, it is up. Like,
Well, exactly. Yeah. No. Listen, I'd love to play against you. I'm not afraid to lose. That's the thing. That's what separates me from 90% of the players I play against. I don't mind losing. I'm not going to lose easy. You're going to have to make me lose. You're going to have to really wear me down. You have to make me lose. But if I have to lose, I'll take a backward step and say, you know what, fair play. Nice one.
I can do
you've
that.
outdone me there.
I can
And
do
do you
that,
know
but
what
I
I mean?
don't like gloating after it. I don't like somebody gloating about it.
Nah, there's no gloating. You've pit yourself against someone, and they've shown themselves to be.
But you're
adversaries.
talking sportsman rules almost. You shake hands
100%.
afterwards. Like, there might be a wee bit of grit in there, and there might be a wee bit of spit in there, and there might be a wee bit of blood. But like, at the end of the day, like, I always liked how the rugby guys do things. I'm not a big.
Shake hands.
Yeah,
I'm trying to kill you. I'm trying to kill you on the battle.
I could literally break your neck here. Like, yeah.
Aye, after the battle's over, if you've stood up to me and you've stared me down, then fair play.
Yeah, and you give the guys, you give the winning guys, give the guard of honor to the losing guys, and applaud them for giving them a battle.
think-
Yeah. Have you done a mission yet where you have to kill 10 hostiles at level 17 or higher?
Have I done that yet? I done one where I had to kill 20 hostiles at 16 or higher, maybe.
No, there's another one. I know there's that one, which is kind of early on.
Can you look up the mission line there? Is it possible that you able to do that for me? I'm on with us or against us heading to Davidal.
Maybe I'll be in Aircast somewhere.
And that's another thing that I wanted to mention just briefly. I might do it in another video as well. Is the communication on all of this has been awful. Nobody, what was stopping them from telling us what was coming? What's stopping them from telling us what's in this maintenance now in a couple of hours? Elcars doesn't even have that information that they can put up. Like, and that's not information that at this stage you have to keep a secret. Like,
what mission are you on just now? What's it called?
With us or against us?
Oh, I think that's one of the later ones. I think you're close to it. If I remember correctly, I think I maybe done between 10 and 15 missions in total or something. At least I felt like that anyway.
Yeah.
Probably closer to the 15, to be honest. If you get one where you have to kill 10 hostels level 70 or higher, you're only a few missions away from doing the whole storyline.
Well, what I might do is I might try and wrap this up now shortly and resume this tomorrow, and see how we're getting on tomorrow after the maintenance, and do it in 2 parts, two long plays if you like.
Yeah, and just say also, well, we don't know, a lot of stuff we've been kind of venting about might be changed. So
yeah, that's it, and we can come back and we can say that tomorrow if you're about.
They might not change it at all, and we can vent even more.
Yeah.
How they had the chance to fix it and they've not fixed it.
Yeah. And I don't mind keeping these things a little bit natural, you know, and letting people just tune into us when we're playing and talking about the game. You know, we're all probably playing the game while we're talking, you know. So I'm gonna cut it at that. And if anybody is listening at this point, join us. What will be for us tomorrow? You'll be getting this a little bit later for the next part. And any comments or questions that you've got, leave them below or come and join us on Discord.